What better way to add a little spice to one of Australian football's newest budding rivalries than a place in the quarterfinals of the FFA Cup at stake. We're here at Jubilee Stadium for this FFA Cup round of 16 tie between Sydney FC, hated and proud, and the Macarthur Bulls. New kids on the block. And already this fixture, which began just 2 weeks ago, adding another twist to the tale with a victory for Macarthur here at this very stadium, prolonging something of a home team curse. These two sides have met 3 times previously. The away side has won each and every time. Well, a look at the A-League men's table may raise a few eyebrows as well. Macarthur FC are sitting pretty atop the standings after 3 matches so far this season. Sydney FC, they're down second from bottom. Melbourne City take on Perth Glory this evening at the same time as this one. We can see the Cove has made the trip. There's travelling support for Macarthur as well. And here come our two sides out onto the field of play.
Please welcome to the field Macarthur FC and yours, Sydney FC.
Well, Sydney have survived a COVID scare. Ryan Grant is not playing any part today, but we will have a look at the starting 11, and we've been delayed a few minutes for kickoff here this evening as well, just waiting for the latest clearance from the Sydney FC squad. There we can see the lineup for Steve Corica's side. 4 changes from the one that drew 2-2 with Newcastle on the weekend. The first start of the season for Costa Barbarouses. He will be one source of danger and goals for them. The other at the back, James Donachie, who's just arrived after a season in India, takes his place in the centre of defence at the expense of Ben Warland. While for Ante Milicic's Macarthur Bulls, plenty of changes there, and the team lineup has just received one little alteration just in the seconds before we went to air. Tommy Juric has withdrawn from the squad. It was to be his first start of the season after 2 appearances off the bench, so he will play no part this evening, and it's the youngster Jack McLaughlin wearing the number 28 who comes in to the starting 11. Otherwise, no Ulysses de Villa, of course. The Mexican star signing this summer injured against the Mariners on the weekend as Macarthur made it 2 wins on the trot. Kurt Ames is our referee this evening. He's being assisted by Brad Wright and Hugh Fenton White. Tim Danaskos is the 4th official. So drama right until kickoff here at Jubilee. There is a beautiful sunset, if you can believe it, after all the rain we've had here. An orange hue over this ground for what is a very, very important match for these two sides. And it's Sydney FC that get us underway. They're still looking for their first win of the season in the Isuzu Ute A-League. Well, for Macarthur, confidence must be sky high, so high in fact that Ante Milicic has rung the changes ahead of this cup clash. I'm joined by Daniel McBreen. Macca, we know that there are plenty of football matches coming thick and fast at the moment for these two sides. That explains the changes in both starting 11s. But can we throw the form book entirely out the window, or is this one going to be another tough night for Sydney?
Well, it'll be interesting to see with the amount of changes we have, and as you say, playing just over a week and a half ago, these guys really know each other well. Obviously, Macarthur getting the edge over Sydney in that game and had a really good defensive effort in that game, really stifled Sydney's attack. So a few changes in that back line could see a little bit of, I guess, what's the word I'm looking for? Cohesion, a little bit of understanding maybe could be lacking. We saw the back three of Suznia, Jovanovic and Uzkok having an excellent start to the season, so that could be disrupting for their defence.
That's right, Ante Milicic there deciding on changes. I think one of them more or less enforced Alexander Jovanovic, who limped out of the contest against the Mariners at the weekend. It was a hard-fought 1-0 victory, courtesy of an own goal on the stroke of half-time from Oli Bozanic. It was a shot from Ulysses Davila, who went off injured. He's injured his knee. We heard in the post-match comments from Ante Milicic that they'll wait on scans for the official word, but at least 4 weeks. No more Ulysses Davila before the new year, it looks like, for Macarthur. That is a big blow, but they do have a couple of options who have come in to this side as well. Notably, Michael Roos, wearing the number 19 shirt for his first start of the campaign. And we can see Danny Da Silva as well will be shouldering plenty of the responsibility in that creative role coming forward. It looks, in fact, that Tommy Orr is playing a little higher up the pitch as well.
Yeah, I think with the late withdrawal of Tommy Juric has forced Ante Milicic again to switch his team around a bit. We see young Jack McLaughlin on that right-hand side, and it's just pushed Tommy Orr a little bit further forward and Roos central.
A couple of youngsters stepping up from the Northbridge Bulls, the New South Wales MPL side, coached by Mile Sterjovski, who is one of Ante Milicic's assistant coaches here with the Bulls as well. So 4 youngsters now with that late change. Ollie Jones was not originally named in the matchday lineup on the bench, but he has, with Tommy Juric withdrawing, he's made his way onto the bench. Jack McLaughlin into the starting 11. And also the youngsters Diego Bonilla and Lachlan Sepping are also on the bench as well.
But I think, Robbie, the fact that the FFA Cup has been postponed or delayed has actually given some younger players more opportunities. You know, they have to balance the squad. You see in Europe quite often that you see when cup competitions are there, the squad is rotated quite a lot. But we don't normally see that in Australia, with FFA Cup normally being in pre-season for the majority of games. So that's normally when they're blooding in their first team. But it's good to see this opportunities for young guys to come in and make their mark.
Ironically, in Europe, it's often the chance for the reserve goalkeeper to get his run as well. And here, we've got 2 goalkeepers who have been in pretty good form, particularly for Filip Kurto.
Yeah.
It'd be a brave Ante Milicic to drop him after last weekend's performance. So the Polish goalkeeper retains his spot in the starting 11 at the expense of poor old Nicholas Suman, who has to wait again.
And he has been excellent since coming in. We spoke in the first 3 weeks of the A-League about how his late inclusion in the squad, but what a signing he's been. He's been absolutely superb.
Well, that was showcased. He was one of the real architects behind that victory. A second win on the trot for Macarthur. It's a good ball in behind for Lafondra. The linesman's flag going up. There's no VAR here today at Jubilee Stadium. Make of that what you will.
I think Lafondra just went a little too early on that run. A yard too early. Good call from the linesman, but promising signs. Midfielders getting on the ball for Sydney and looking forward. That's what you want from your strikers, to make those runs in behind.
Or just getting away from Moody Najjar on this left-hand side. First start of the season as well for Antonis Martis in the middle of the park, the number 29, sitting just in front of the defence there, alongside Liam Rose. As the ball in is an excellent ball, and a first sighting on goal for Adam Lafondra, and a very good sighting at that.
Well, it was a wonderful ball in, wasn't it? Acres of space and time, and just decided to put the early ball in, and Lafondra just stole in, crept in at the back post. You can see he's a little disappointed with himself there. For his standards, he'll think he should have hit the target. That's twice now he's made some good forward runs. Sydney not afraid to play an early ball in behind or whip it in. So Macarthur defence need to be on their toes. Just also speaks about the midfield and the pressure on the ball to stop those deliveries.
Sydney look to come forward again. Lefondre gets it wide down this right-hand side with Van der Sar. Oh, through the legs of Nager, the cross to the front post. And Sydney right on top in these opening exchanges, and Ante Milicic just getting a bit of time for his teammates there. Or players kicking the ball
just
away.
Kicking the ball away. It was a wonderful play from Van der Sar. Cheeky little ball through the legs.
That chance for Adam Lefondre. He scored his 50th and 51st goals for Sydney FC already this season. Number 50 coming against Sydney Olympic in the Cup 2 weeks ago. And then number 51 from the penalty spot against Newcastle, Sydney's first A-League goal of the season. And he's been informed, despite this side struggling to find goals. There's no Bobo again this evening, but Lefondre is a real danger up front.
Yeah, and I spoke about him being disappointed with his effort, because normally he gets a chance. You give him one chance and he misses, he'll get the next one. So if I was those Macarthur defenders, I'd be a little bit more alert now. He's such a talented finisher of the ball.
They have been warned. Macarthur's defence has been, I'd say, one of the keys, but really the key so far to their excellent start to the season. 2 wins and a draw in the Isuzu Ute A-League, and also here for the first time ever in the FFA Cup and playing for a place in the quarterfinals.
Probably on the weekend against the Mariners was their worst defensive performance as a back line, but when you have the quality of Curto in behind, he cleaned up everything for them. That's what he's there to do.
A player that knows the A-League very well, doesn't he, after spells at Phoenix and Western United as well. He may have arrived late, but he wasn't in culture shock so much when he arrived to play here, which can be and require a period of adaptation for a foreign player when they arrive in Australia or New Zealand.
And he just seems to be growing in stature the longer he stays here.
There are a few foreign players that fall in love with the country and like to stay. Why not? There's a bit of rain about in New South Wales these days, but it's still got plenty to offer.
Let's not talk about the Sydney traffic either.
Which was not responsible for the delayed kickoff today, we will stress. "37 years of age and still going strong." Wilkinson charging forward, trying to just maintain a little bit of pressure for his teammates as well and say, here we go, let's keep this up.
Yeah, well, as we're approaching 10 minutes, it's been all Sydney FC at the moment.
Now, when he played this season, he immediately overtook Steve Corica to become the 3rd oldest player in the history of Sydney FC, did Alex Wilkinson. If he scores, he will overtake Steve Corica to become the 3rd oldest scorer in the history of the A-League. I'll give you a clue. The first two, the 2 oldest, are both the 2 oldest goal scorers as well.
Del Piero's definitely one. And if we're going to get back to Alex Wilkinson scoring another goal, I think it was 115 or something goals between his last 2, so I wouldn't hold my breath on him.
So we could be heading straight to the top of that list if we had to wait there. Well past 40. 40 would do it. Del Piero was 39 and a bit. The other was, of course, Kazumura, the Japanese veteran who may still be playing for all we know. He played very long into his career. He must be edging 50 now. Something tells me he might still be playing, actually.
Yeah, I think he is. He's getting those 1-year deals. And scoring as well.
And scoring. He just wants to secure that record in the J-League for all time. Tommy Orr. Meredith, he steps in to this back line. It's only one of the regular 3 as it's a good ball in. And a first sighting on goal, or half sighting, half a chance for Michael Roos.
Similar movement from Roos there to we saw Lafonda earlier, just drifting off the back shoulder of the centre-back as the ball came over, and just couldn't quite get over it. A little bit of floated pass over his head. It's a real first foray into the Sydney FC box that we've seen. It's taken nearly 12 minutes.
Sydney have been on top, but as we've also seen so far this season, that doesn't necessarily mean Sydney will win, and it doesn't necessarily mean for Macarthur being dominated that they can't come away with something from this. It's a good run. Lovely play down that left flank. Burgess, back-to-back starts for him after a first start against Newcastle. Flag might be up for offside there as well. Get the feeling the linesman's initial reaction is to just wait, just in case, before lifting the flag as well, because they too have to adapt to games with and without VAR. Instructed to let the play go if you're refereeing with the VAR. Raise the flag as soon as possible if not. That's well played. The youngster McLaughlin down that right-hand side.
Yeah, I think King misjudged the ball and let it go over his head. Just let him McLaughlin slip in.
Nice little touch from Lafonda, but you've got to get up pretty early in the morning these days to get past Shushnya. He's enjoying a fantastic start to the season, even if today, as Macca mentioned, he's been orphaned of his 2 regular players starting alongside him in Uskok and Jovanovic. We'll have to monitor Jovanovic. He may be a doubt for this coming weekend. May just be a precaution, of course. Helped on nicely by Liam Rose, first-time ball. Wide with Najer. Shushnya, Meredith. Jake McGing, who's not playing, up against the younger brother today, Liam, who didn't make the matchday squad for Sydney FC. Liam, who signed a short-term deal with Sydney after a 2-week trial from the Phoenix. That's well played, Tommy Orr. Getting it outside quickly. Little telegraph that time. Rose, Martis gives the ball away. Sydney can try and transition quickly here. Well organised and a great hustle there from Danny De Silva to not allow Paulo Retre to get away.
Well, one of the other Macarthur players who has impressed me at the start of this season has been Moody Najar, with his play getting forward.
There's Meredith back to Curto. Very nicely done.
Yeah, Moody Najar, he's been very good on this left-hand side for Macarthur. And just saw, as Macarthur had the good possession there, he just ghosted up again as he does so well. He just creeps up the field, and he was standing with his arms raised, just asking for the switch, which never came. But it's something that Sydney FC will have to keep an eye on, because he has a real tendency to get forward and just ghost in at the back post when the ball comes from the other side. And you can see again, he was screaming, arms in the air. That's a problem also if Macarthur give that ball away when they don't play it, then he's open to being exploited down that side.
It's a good ball over the top from McLaughlin for Tommy Orr. There's no way past King. Van der Sar. All the way back with James Donachie. Injured just on the eve of the season. Had to sit out the first couple of matches. He'll be looking to put pressure on Ben Warland for this starting spot alongside Wilkinson. And give Steve Corica a few more selection headaches as well. Burgess's ball, asking a lot of King. Burgess gets it back. Switch of play, Van der Sar, very nicely done. Barbarouses, his first start of the campaign. Could have started against Newcastle were it not for a bout of gastro, which is never pleasant.
We've seen a couple of lovely touches from Harry Van der Sar down this right-hand side. To see the confidence, can sometimes struggle with that when you don't get regular game time.
It's over the top from Antonis Martis and Andrew Redmayne coming a long way and then really not knowing what to do with it.
He got himself all in a muddle and then decided, well, the best bet is to put this out, kick the ball away and get back into my goal as quickly as possible.
Najjar not putting too much pressure on. Played again, Liam Rose. Diving in, not letting anyone away. And after a bright start from Sydney, Macarthur just starting to level things up. Provide that stiff opposition that Sydney will remember all so well from 10 days ago. That day it was Lockie Rose that got the goal, that settled this one in Macarthur's favour and continues a run. It's only early days in their rivalry, mind you. The away side has always won this fixture. Had two here at home for Sydney. Lost them both by a 1-0. It was Derbyshire who got the winner last season. He's gone. Plenty of players left Macarthur. There were plenty of question marks over what to expect. It's been a remarkable start. Capped by that 1-0 victory over Sydney, perhaps, in round 2 of the season. The goal coming in the 17th minute, just around now. And they defended that lead very, very well.
They did. It was a true defending masterclass, if we're being honest. The back line, the two wing backs as well, worked wonderfully well together. Really stifled Sydney FC's attack, and you saw frustration coming into the game towards the end. So just so well. Sydney really didn't have that many great opportunities at all, which for this team over the past 5 or 6 years are used to getting it their own way.
3 grand finals in a row for Sydney FC and for their coach Steve Corica. He won 2 of them, lost the last one despite a goal from Kostas Barbarouses, who's back in the side this evening. Near the Cove, giving plenty of voice. And perhaps the absence of fans on that far side of the field can be somewhat justified by the fact that it's been raining more or less all day in Sydney, and we had a very heavy downpour about an hour before kickoff as well. So most of the supporters are under cover on this near side of the ground as Sydney look look to just impose their game again a little bit. They're one of the best passing sides in the competition. The early cross from Burgess again. Donachie. It was Paulo Retre who was just getting put under pressure, but he was looking for that run of Van der Sar, which never materialised.
No, just a little miscommunication there. Van der Sar just halted his run just as Retre played it. It wasn't a bad ball, but not quite in unison at the moment.
He's got a slightly Ryan Grant-inspired haircut. There, Van der Sar. The man he's replacing at right back, there was some talk that it could be Callum Talbot, who stepped in at right back, but in the end Van der Sar, as it was against Sydney Olympic, gets the nod. It was a 4-2 win for Sydney against Sydney Olympic, but it wasn't easy. They didn't have it all their own way as Redmond, again, under pressure. And Redmayne and Van der Sar. Another miscommunication there.
You could hear Stephen Corica there screaming out, sort it out.
Here's De Silva. Rose. McLaughlin. Meredith. And after a good 2 or 3 minutes for Sydney, we swing back for Macarthur again. As this game starts to just take form and find its rhythm. It's another fantastic run from Shushnya. And he got all the way there, the cutback. Fantastic, positive football from the central defender. Has to be careful as we head up the other end. That's well defended.
Well, Shushnya just took off there, didn't he? Took his first touch in to the midfield, and when he played that ball, he said, well, why not? I'll keep on going. Delivered a nice ball into the box. Found himself in rarefied air there for a centre-back.
Here he is again. Back where he's more familiar, perhaps, with starting the play, not finishing it. It's not a bad ball for Najjar, but they're under a little bit of pressure. Sydney trying to implement this high-pressing game. Van der Sar. It opens up for him down this right-hand side. Again, Shushnya called upon, but it'll be our first corner of the contest in favour of the home side.
Both teams now having little forays into the defensive areas. Both coming in the last couple of minutes from just driving runs. First from Shushnya and then from Van der Sar.
The referee, Kurt Ames, in the microphone there, saying just be careful, no blocking. You can stand there if you want. Van der Sar's ball in, it's a good one. And it almost sat for Sydney FC. Now the break is on. That's a lovely ball for Tommy Orr, clever play. Now, can he find the pass? He couldn't. Bruce was just hiding behind blue shirts there. He couldn't find the pass, he didn't open it out.
I think Bruce thought he was going to receive the first pass and continued his run, and once Tommy Orr got it, he'd run into an offside position, and there's nothing that Tommy Orr could do. Surrounded by blue shirts. The game's starting to open up a little bit now.
Liam Rose for Najjar. De Silva, who's made a bright start to his new life as a Bull. Najjar down the left. Oh, that's a lovely ball to the back post. It was a difficult one to cross. He did it ever so well. Appeals for a handball. Mostly from Michael Roos, not so much McLaughlin. We were talking, Macca, about the quality of Najjar. That was a superb ball in and wasn't an easy one.
No, and that's what he loves to do. Get forward, try and get balls in the box. Always looking to drive it. And it was a great ball. Just hangs it up from at the far post. And Alex Wilkerson, with the help of Joel King, that's where they were talking about the handball, but it looks like it clearly comes off the chest.
Donachie with Wilkinson. Patrick Wood has been lively. He got on the score sheet against Sydney Olympic in the last round of the Cup, but we haven't seen too much of him so far. 26 minutes in has been Lafondra who's been making the better run so far.
You just think about Mood in the jar and this left-hand side, how he likes to get forward. You've got Van der Sarg, not too many minutes under his belt. Costa Barbarousse is coming off illness last week. Wonder if the game goes on, if that will have an effect. Daniel De Silva's another from Macarthur. Had a really good game on the weekend. Good to see him get involved, get on the ball some more.
Shushnya, long for Roos. It's Donachie who's across in cover and not trying anything flash. If in doubt, put it out. It's almost a 4-5-1 formation, isn't it, with these two, De Silva and Orr, who are more midfielders than really supporting attackers for Roos, but playing quite centrally.
Yeah, both inside, looking to get on the ball to play those forward passes or switch the play.
You can see it there. It's like a square in the midfield. Two defensive, two attacking. So that's one for King to chase.
And that means a lot of work up front for Michael Roos. As a lone striker.
Yeah, who's working hard. You won't mind being in the starting 11?
No, never.
Rose for Martis. This goes down there under the challenge. Antonis Martis, Cypriot-born, Australia under-17 international, who before last season at the Bulls and 22 appearances, spent 3 seasons coming through the ranks at Midtjylland. Has a good history of Australian footballers as well. Can't keep that one in play. Sydney looking to get back on the front foot. Lafondra. 1-2, it's well defended. That time by Liam Rose. Sydney tracking back, not allowing Macarthur to string too many passes together. Donachie.
Hold it. Take the hit. A little bit, toughen up. That'll do you, Marta. Hey,
great hearing Ante Milicic and Steve Corica being able to just listen in to their instructions down on the side of the pitch. Here's Van der Sar. Good ball, cleverly done from Lafondra. Well, he's such a clever player.
Yeah.
He's not the fastest, he's not the biggest, but he scores lots of goals and he's always there.
Yeah, and that's great awareness to know where his strike partner is. Just to let that roll behind, and Pat Wood just probably wasn't expecting it. Just that half a yard off the pace. A clever play again.
Well, the Macarthur defenders didn't like that one. It's at the Macarthur bench. can see Ante Milicic is having a word to the fourth official now, as well as Kurt Ames had a long look at it before deciding to blow in Sydney's favour. Caceres standing over this one. Curto struggling to be heard there, amazingly.
His defenders are the only ones who can't hear it.
Finally got his message across. There's James Meredith in the wall. Are you listening? Caceres' ball in is a good one. Donachie was there, and it just wouldn't sit. Pat Wood.
Well, it was a good ball from Caceres. 3 Sydney players at the back post. Concerning for Ante Milicic. It was the youngster Jack McLaughlin who got the header away. Bounced a little too high for Wood. Couldn't quite get his body over it. We've seen that Macarthur defence be so strong over the past few weeks. That was a little unnerving, I'm sure, for the Macarthur bench.
Well, they would have been training this system, all the players that come in, of course, but that's when the difference comes down perhaps to individual quality or just the fact that you've been playing together in competitive football. But there's no doubt that Meredith and McGing know what they have to do.
Well, what the pre-season games that Macarthur did play, was that they did play with a back 4 in those games. It was until the season came that they changed to a back 3 or 5, whichever way you like to look at it, which we're more accustomed to seeing them with, and it's really paid dividends.
Sometimes it is hard to tell, but this looks quite clearly a back 3, doesn't it? I mean, the 2 wide men sit very high up the pitch. I guess it's this boy in the middle of the park, Martis and Rose, who have to do more compensating in those fullback positions than the actual fullbacks. That's a good ball for Tommy Orr. McLaughlin down this right-hand side. First time cross is a good one.
It was a great ball. And that's where you need your striker, Ruse, to be across the front post, across the front defender. You can't have your centre-back clearing without any pressure. Get across him, you may force a mistake, but you can't be letting him get in front unopposed. Oof. Heavy tackle from Alex Wilkinson.
Perfectly timed on Tommy Orr. Tommy Orr goes again, and Wilkinson, not quite so convincing the second time, but that was some challenge.
It's an old school challenge, that one, isn't it?
No complaints from Tommy Orr.
No, everyone got up and got on with it, which was good to see. See Orr ball.
De Silva. Delivers, back post, free header for Jake McGing.
Well, it was a good ball from Daniel De Silva, and you see McGing really unmarked. Just backpedaling, couldn't get the power on the header as he headed it down into the ground. It just bounced up nicely for Andrew Redmayne. But that's a couple of occasions at both ends now we've seen players just drift into space, get away from their defenders.
Just about the best chance of the match for Macarthur so far. And after that bright start, chances have been few and far between. Defences have been right on top.
Yeah.
Lefondre can't create anything here as he, for the third time in this first half, is offside.
Macarthur's done that well. They've held a good line, good solid line. If he wants to run forward, one of the Sydney attackers, well, we'll let him run into that offside position. Can be a dangerous game, but they've got it down perfectly so far.
King, Rattray making himself available. It's a good throw for Burgess. Burgess still. Now King. Ball to the back post, the header from Wood. Still in there. I think there might have been a hand there in the end from Burgess.
Yeah, handball.
Well, I thought for a moment he was holding the arm up for offside.
As the ball came down, as it came in, see Meredith gets the header and hits the hand. It was a dangerous ball in from that left-hand side. Just wax lyrical about Macarthur and their good defensive line, and Sydney have a good overlapping run and managed to get in behind and whip one in.
Eight minutes to go in this first half. We're back underway. It has been a very even contest. Now Tommy Orr, good little ball. De Silva, here's Roos. Didn't back himself to shoot. He might get another chance here. Roos does. Curls it up over the crossbar. But by then the horse had bolted.
Yeah. I think that De Silva thought he was going to shoot as well. He made a perfect run, peeling off the shoulder of the defender. Just opened up the passing lane for Daniel De Silva. As you say, Robbie didn't back himself. Then found himself in a more difficult position and then decided to go for it. You see here, this is the second time the ball comes back. Now the momentum's gone, he's leaning backwards, he's further back. They come with the confidence of time on the field, really.
Probably. I mean, you can always adapt. Sometimes it can work in your favour as well for Roos, but he would have planned to be playing a different position probably, for all intents and purposes.
Yeah.
Probably where Tommy Orr is playing.
Oh, but he's done well in this 9 position. He's been good at holding the ball up, and that was a perfect run to really open the pass for De Silva. He just needs to back himself, and once he's had that first touch, just unleash one.
Tommy Urich was originally named in the starting 11. His first start it would have been for Macarthur Bulls, but he pulled out after the warm-up. It's well played. Touch back, and the shot is not a bad one on the left foot from Paulo Rattray.
Yeah, neat play down that left-hand side from Sydney as the ball came back. Paulo Rattray on his less favoured side, just tried to curl it into the top corner.
Sydney just about ahead on points, I'd say, in
Yeah.
what we've seen so far in 40 minutes.
It's gone back and forth, swayed either way. Probably have to just give it to Sydney 10-9 on the Boxers scorecard for the first half so far.
Which are always 10-9, which is something I never really understood myself. But
No one's hit that knockdown blow yet.
making good noise behind the goal there. Their side of defending. Van der Sar. Good ball for Burgess, and he does that very well because it wasn't the easiest to negotiate.
No, great play under pressure. And a forward run again. Oh.
But the ball doesn't come that time. It's King that hesitated.
You could hear Alex Wilkinson screaming, "Give it him, give it him."
Now Caceres, he's done that very nicely. Now Burgess finally gets the ball and he's offside. You can see the frustration.
Yeah.
That's how hard he worked, right from that first control in the middle of the park.
And the problem is he can look right across that line as well, and you can see he's just trying to hold the run. He wants it to be given. But again, that Macarthur line is good. It's probably just straight offside.
Fair play to Macarthur as well, because with two of the back three new in this starting 11, with a debutant on the right side in McLaughlin, and Najjar not involved in that defensive action on that line, but to keep that line.
Yeah.
That shows that on the training field they are very disciplined as well.
Yeah, very well organised.
It helps when your assistant coach is also the coach of the Northbridge Bulls in the NPL, with 4 of the youngsters in the side today who have stepped up just to fill a few holes, fill a few gaps, and allow people to take a break as well. There's no Craig Noon in the match day squad. There's no Jovanovic, there's no Jake Holman, there's no Ulysses De Villa, of course, as well, which is the big one missing. There's no Jordan Much, there's no Al Hassan Toure, who's cup-tied with Adelaide. This list is starting to sound a little bit long for Macarthur, so it gives you another way of seeing how this contest is going. Mind you, if we want to talk injuries, Bratton, Bobo and Grant are all missing for Sydney as well. And that's 3 important pieces to a puzzle there.
And the quality has been great. You wouldn't expect 6 players are missing from one team, 3 from the other. It's been an entertaining match. Swayed from end to end, and it's been some fantastic football played. A real arm wrestle at times, some quality play.
The winner of this contest will be at home to Brisbane Roar in the quarterfinals. It will add another match to the fixture list, which is getting busy because there are plenty of matches around Christmas coming up as well.
I think if you ask the players, they'd be happy with midweek games. Nothing better than the match day.
Light training session is
Light
how
training
I'm
sessions,
interpreting what you're saying there, Daniel McBrain.
Yep. Match, recovery, match. Footballer's dream, that one.
Now Najjar. A little touch with De Silva. Najjar gets it back. Rose. He's interchanged well with Martis from that left to right side of central midfield. Tommy Orr. Out to McLaughlin. It's well worked again. He's held his own on that far side, the youngster as well. Orr's ball, back post for Najjar. Van der Sarg gets an important touch and keeps it alive. Barbarousis didn't look. Bruce, the touch, it's back out. Najjar on the left foot. He gets another chance. Shushnya. Goes again, Shushnya, look at this. Clips the ball back in, Redmayne. Only as far as McLaughlin, who hits it. It's blocked by Burgess. No hand, says the referee. So Macarthur, in the final minute of this first half, trying to turn the screw on Sydney FC. They scored in the last minute before half-time against the Mariners at the weekend. Here's De Silva. It's a good long spell of possession and pressure as Tommy Orr strikes it on the left boot.
Well, it was a good passage of play from Macarthur, and at times when they have got that ball in midfield and look to play through the lines of Sydney, they have moved it well and moved the ball into wide areas. That brings an end to the first half.
That's right, half-time, no stoppage time in what was a free-flowing and more or less entertaining first half of cup football here between two sides that felt each other out for the opening few exchanges. Good chances for Adam Lefondre and for Shushnya at the other end. Roos with a header over the bar as well. An even contest at Jubilee Stadium with a quarter-final position at stake. At half-time, it's Sydney 0, Macarthur 0. We'll be back with some analysis and stats right after this. particular three. FFA Cup clash, a place in the quarterfinals against Brisbane Roar awaits the winner, and after 45 minutes we're no closer to knowing who that will be after a very tight and competitive first half of football. There are the statistics that tell just that story. Macarthur slightly edging possession, but you could barely tell. They've had a few more shots on target, but probably Sydney just about, for most of that, had the better attempts on goal. One on target for Macarthur, otherwise a very even stats card reflected in the score at the top of that stat, which is of course the most important statistic. Macca, we saw an even contest. Both sides did have chances though.
Yeah, we saw chances from both ends. Really, probably I would say chances that were half chances at best. Maybe, you know, Lafondra maybe a little bit disappointed with his finish, but this is the kind of thing we see, the ball going in, just not dropping for players. When it does drop, it drops for the opposition to get the touch, or just a little too high there, as we see Wood can't quite get his foot over the ball. And there was a sort of story of the first half, really. Defenders giving their attackers a little bit of space, but then recovering well. And this is an opportunity I thought Rouge could have really just had a crack. And then as the ball comes back to him, makes the wrong decision in my mind there. But this is how the whole half was encountered, because of such really good defensive organisations for both teams.
Well, these two sides, defence has been one of the keys to their season so far, particularly for Macarthur Bulls, who currently sit atop the Isuzu Ute A-League and are looking for their first ever place in the quarterfinals of the FFA Cup. We'll be back after these messages, but before then, Well, let's catch up with Network 10 commentator Alex Brosque and former Sydney FC legend.
I'm Alex Brosque and I'm going to be part of the expert panel providing coverage on the Channel 10 and Paramount Plus network. The first club I played for, I started quite young. I was about 3.5, my mum tells me, and it was for a local South American team that my dad actually played for called Welcome Sports. I don't think they're around anymore, but that's where I started. Australian football is, look, it is everything to me. I've obviously grown up in this country and played all my football, you know, in this country, and what the game has given me and what I've been able to give in a small part back to the game has been everything, has been the biggest part of my life. So Australian football basically is everything to me. I think that there's a lot to look forward to with Australian football. Obviously, this new TV deal now, I think, gives the game a bit of direction and a bit of go forward. And I think just the support and backing that the game needed. So I'm excited about the future and what the next few years hold. The biggest hurdle, I think, for the Socceroos will just be following on from the past, year and a bit. It's the challenges that come with not knowing where they're playing. It's Arnie's difficulty in getting the squad together, whether it's local or international. I think they're obviously always well prepared going into matches, so that won't be an issue. But I just think the logistics and getting his squad together, making sure we have the best players available for every game. Looking back at that qualifier where John Aloisi scored the goal, it's not going to please a lot of my family given the Uruguayan background, but it was the one time that football literally brought me to tears, and seeing Johnny score that goal and just the words behind it, the moment, I remember everything I was doing. I think football is about those moments, and that was incredible for me. It was only a recent one, the Matildas playing against Britain in the Olympics. I think that for me, I was watching the game with my wife and 3 young girls at home, and they were cheering the girls on, and we all were. And seeing Sam Kerr equalise right before the death, take them into extra time and win that game, the emotion in that entire game was incredible. I think another sort of easy answer and probably the go-to for most, but Sam Kerr is, I think what she's doing and really leading, as one of the first, Australian women to really take football to that next level for us internationally. She's doing what she's doing in England, which I guess for any young player in Australia going abroad to test yourself is a massive challenge, and she's just done it with such ease. She comes back and plays for her country exceptionally well, and is a real standout for me. Well, look, I think what I'll be bringing is just my years of experience, having played within the A-League and within Australian football for as long as I have, and knowing the players, knowing the way we think here, and knowing, having good insight into what makes Australian players tick. It will be an interesting season. I think a lot of teams have strengthened, so Melbourne City will be up there again. They've really added to their squad. Melbourne Victory will bounce back after a disappointing last year. And Sydney FC, while not having really added too much to their roster, is already an incredible lineup as it is. So I think those 3 will be challenging for the title. Look, being part of Paramount Plus, I'm excited that they took the challenge on to back football and get behind football. We were crying out for someone to do exactly that, and I think that's an exciting new chapter for football in this country, and for me to be a part of it is obviously very special for me, and hopefully we can see the game grow in the next few years.
Welcome back to Jubilee Stadium, where it's 0-0 at half-time in this FFA Cup round of 16 clash. The first ever cup meeting between these two sides, just the fourth in history between Sydney FC and the Macarthur Bulls. And two changes during the break for Ante Milicic's side, as in comes Lachlan Sepping into one of those two advanced midfield roles, and the other one as well, because it's Charles Mombois who's come into the contest as well. So two changes for Macarthur, who keep their two holding men on the pitch. And the second half is underway. Sydney FC have only ever lost one of 5 round of 16 clashes. They'll be hoping to maintain that excellent ratio against a Macarthur side who are playing in the cup for the very first time, of course. And who? I said I wouldn't say it to my co-commentator Daniel McBreen, but I will. They are defending a 100% record in the history of their history of the FFA Cup. One from one.
It is the truth. It is a fact. So we may as well use it.
A 3-0 victory over Newcastle Olympic. One man that got 2 goals that night was a certain Lockie Rose. He's on the bench. Mombois gets it to McLaughlin. A lovely little touch from the youngster. He's played with assurance and maturity, hasn't he?
He's done well. Lovely little flick there. Mombois in behind. Julie had a poor touch to bring it undone, but he's definitely held himself well in this game so far. Hasn't looked nervous. That's wonderful play. Interesting
from Milicic to change Da Silva. One of the attacking two, as we see confirmation of those substitutions. Mombois in for Da Silva and Sepping on for Tommy Orr. But that's two of your more creative attacking players that you're feeling what, that they weren't doing the job, so you take them off, or you're one eye on the weekend? Or?
I think it'd be more one eye on the weekend, 45 minutes. Maybe that was a planned move before the game, to just give them half the game and then get the other 2 on.
Macarthur Bulls versus Western Sydney Wanderers on Saturday night in the Isuzu A-League Men's, as Matt Wood wants a free kick after colliding with Meredith. You can see it in the background there. I don't think that was entirely accidental. There has been some more good news this week for Macarthur Bulls, who sit atop the A-League standings, of course. But they are returning to Campbelltown. Confirmation that their match against the Jets on the 19th of December will be played at their home ground, and that is fantastic news after the false start for them this season.
Yeah, you know what to see is the teams travelling around different grounds. They'll be glad to get back there, get their fans in there and start to feel like making it home again.
Wilkinson with Burgess. Joel King's trying to make the run inside the channel there. Here's Donachie. No future down the right, so he comes back to Wilkinson. King, first time ball, that's nicely done. Acres of space for Burgess here, who looks up. Can't find the cross though to get past the first man. Goes again with King. Now Rattray. Ball to the back post. He spotted the run of Van der Sarg, but that was just overhit.
That's something that Sydney do very well. That ball goes wide. Midfielders make that run from the central area in between centre-backs and full-backs. The first time ball in behind is, they do it so well. Probably just stalled there when he maybe he could have crossed, but gave the opportunity for the McGing to get in and a block on the cross, but it's out of the Sydney playbook 101.
It's not Bratton and Grant, but it's still there.
Yeah.
Caceres. It's a good idea. Trying to get the play going. It's just not coming off at the moment. Retray again with Caceres. King, big switch. For Van der Sar. Nicely done, Van der Sar. A piece of skill to bring that ball under control. Oh, and it was a lovely ball back in. Who was offside? Who wasn't there? Because I'm not sure both were.
I thought they both, to be honest, Robbie, I think both of them had drifted offside, and Lafondra, who put the ball in, as we see, both of them have drifted offside, and you heard Lafondra screaming, "Stay onside," but he was guilty of himself in the first half.
But he could see better. He had a better view.
Typical striker. It's never your fault. You've never done it wrong. But again, that Macarthur line is good. Good uniform, strong line.
Mombois leaping. Caceres with Wilkinson. Retray a little slow to react, and the referee decides that's a foul in Macarthur's favour.
I guess it's a foul. Rose who got to the ball. Just went there first. Touch. I don't think there was really too much in it. See, collected ankles together.
Both players coming off second best there. It looked very painful.
It's actually a Sydney FC. I thought the free kick had gone the other way. So.
Oh, yeah, it has. Well, I think the ref might have changed his mind. Certainly looked at it first.
Yeah.
I was going to say, it could be one, you call one way or the other.
Yeah, I think everybody thought it was a Macarthur free kick, and then Sydney ended up with it. But
that's given away. Sepping just loses his footing. Great to see these young kids getting a chance. You spoke about it, Macca, in the first half, but this congested fixture list for these clubs mean that these young kids are getting call-ups from their MPL sides or fringe players, are really getting some excellent experience, because you're much better for a first trip with the first team, a first run, even if it's a cup game, a new look squad. It's fantastic for settling those nerves for the next time you're called up.
And we have probably seen, notwithstanding the last 12, 18 months with this COVID regulations, but it has been difficult for young players to get opportunities in Australia at times. We've spoke much about it over the past few years, about game time for youngsters and opportunities in the system that we have. So it's good to see them now starting to get more and more opportunities. And as we've said before, the majority of them, they stand up.
It's also fun to have so much football on at the moment at the start of a season. To be here Tuesday, Wednesday, start again 3 days over the weekend.
Like I said, that's for the players as well. You know, fans love it, we all love it, players as well. If you ask them, do they want to play 3 games a week and have those light training sessions in between, I'll tell you, they'll take the games every day.
And spare a thought for the fans as well, who get up at all hours to watch the European Champions League, Europa League, Conference League, and then can keep going all day watching the highlights till we get to some more top flight local league and cup football as well. It's a great time to be a football fan as Van der Sar gets it back, and Lafondra just with the little dink, focusing on getting it on target more than anything else.
Yeah, it was a wonderful ball from Max Burgess on this. Caceres it was actually. Just drifted into the backside. You see Lafondra using his body well to position himself between the defender. Just couldn't quite get the power.
Jar couldn't find a way through there. Nicely done by King, riding the challenge of Ruse. Again, the flag is up for offside. This is a remarkable defensive line from Macarthur. It's the 5th or 6th offside flag we've had.
The second half really starting off like the same as the first. Sydney having the majority of the play in that first 10 minutes. But a number of offside. See again, the perfect line from those back three.
Last minute.
We might have a change next out. 31 to 28 is on my wing right here.
Yeah, we can just hear the 4th official there in our microphone, so giving us all a little heads up. We're ready for a change. Next stoppage. Number 31 for number 28, is that what I heard from McLaughlin? As we're into the area with Sydney, I was just trying to listen to the instructions from Ante Milicic to Lockie Rose. This play continues now. Sydney, the ball in. Oh, and it's kept in play, but not for long. And Curto gratefully accepts the gift in the end from Joel King.
Did well, Joel King around the back. I don't think he was spotted by any of the Macarthur defence.
They've done that very nicely. Macarthur bringing the ball between Rose and Martis, who have combined well, those two in the middle of the park.
They have. When they've got on the ball in central areas, they've done well. They've progressed that ball forward, gone and supported again.
McGing. Martis. Needs support. Looks long and Sydney have it back. Good pressing from Caceres, who went out and kept McGing facing the wrong way. He's through the back of Lafondra. Must have been pretty close.
You can hear Kurt Am saying, no, he just stood there. You can see the replay here. Yeah, I think he's got it right. Lafondra looking to bait the referee into a foul there.
Straight back, full of running, Adam Lafondra. Wilkinson winning the header. Now Roos, Macarthur. Can they break? Roos. It's a difficult ask. Burgess was tracking back. Cleverly done, and now Barbarousis. The ball. Defence splitting pass for Burgess. Down this left-hand side. Again, he's had time. Burgess. That's a disappointing finish. Time for that substitution for Macarthur. And it's the man of the moment. 4 goals, cup and league combined this season already for Lockie Rose, who comes on for Jack McLaughlin. Well done, young man. That was an excellent debut in your first team football.
Yeah, he's performed well. Almost 60 minutes. Looked very comfortable out there. See the coaching staff giving him high fives and pats on the back for a job well done. We get to see Lockie Rose in the position we're more accustomed to see him in that wide area.
So a straight swap on the right side of midfield. Very nicely done, Rose. Here's Mombwa, and now Rose immediately into the action. For the first time, we've seen the first touches of players, often a little slip involved. It is very greasy underfoot here at Jubilee Stadium.
Plenty of rain today. Rose just getting used to the conditions.
Don't let him turn side. Don't let him go out that way.
Milicic with lots of advice for the youngsters. That was Sepping. You could hear him just saying, don't let the midfielder turn away, as Najjar comes striding forward for Roos, and that pretty much sums up his evening so far, at least anyway. There's plenty of time left, mind you. Half an hour as the ball is turned over, and it's Lafondra who breaks away. The cross, it might yet fall for Burgess here. On the left foot, fantastic defending again, desperation stuff from the Bulls. And they survive again, and survive pretty comfortably, you have to say.
Fantastic defensive work there. As Lafondra broke the line. 7 Macarthur players got back into the box. So as Lafondra looked up, he saw a wall of grey. See one boy here. It looked to me like he'd slipped and fell down before Retray even got to him. We talk about the Macarthur defence. It's not only their organisation, but it's also the desire and that attitude to get back when they are compromised.
You hear it said, we defend with 11, we attack with 11, but here you see it.
Yes.
It really is the case. It's a phrase that's wheeled out. And here you almost get the feeling you're seeing where it came from with this Macarthur side. And another thing we're seeing today is that Philippe Courteau has barely had a save to make. It puts a certain relief on what we saw at the weekend with the Mariners as well, where he was called into action so often. And we've seen how strong this defence is tonight. So the Mariners gave it a good run as well. Mongwa and Burgess. What was that about?
Well, Burgess just lost his head a little bit there. Mongwa was just clipping at his heels. Nothing too much in it really, and it was just hassling and parrying. And Burgess just sort of dived on Mongwa. Get a stern talking to.
Well, that's good for the referee as well.
Mongwa can see the funny side. You can see he's just hassling him and really just being an annoyance.
Good ball in from Van der Sarg. Only lasted the first 45 minutes against Sydney Olympic at Belmore 2 weeks ago, Van der Sarg, but he's still going strong here, and that was a lovely cross. Cleared by Meredith. As everyone looks up, and Pat Wood is going to make way now. Replaced by Buhaja. It'll be a straight swap up front.
Buhaja with his pace, he will test that line. Constantly look to get him behind.
It comes near post, and it's Meredith with a good header away. Quickly back in play, and Sydney come again. Ball to the back post. McGing's head up. Lockie Rose is beaten in the air by Wilkinson. And the Sky Blue have it again. Burgess's ball in. Can't find a taker. And a Sarg. Caceres is forced all the way back, and here's King now. Good switch, Van der Sarg. Still. Can they produce a telling ball? That's a good one into the area. Hook back towards the penalty spot. Was there a push there? No, says the referee. The crowd and Sydney FC thought there might have been. Either that or a fantastic Superman interpretation from Adam Lafondra.
Macarthur are really finding it difficult to get out of their own area now. Some sustained pressure from Sydney. Might get a replay. Puts the arm out, Lockie Rose. There's a little bit in it. I think Fonda is diving that way, jumping away from Lockie Rose.
It's Courteau under pressure. Buhaja gets away with it. Rose's pass is poor there. You can all hear what Ante Milicic thought of that.
He wanted Lockie Rose to run with the ball, I believe. He's almost living every ball down there, isn't he?
I've seen studies done on coaches and their heart rates. And, something that maybe awaits you in the future, Macca, but it's no sleep the night of a match. Heart still going at 1:40 at 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. They certainly do feel the pressure as Rose. Must be even worse when you're a former player, because you have that adrenaline of wanting to be out there as well and knowing what you would have done or should have done or could have done. As Rentre hits it from distance, and Curto this time is called upon to make the save. One of the best moments of the contest so far, 65 minutes in for Sydney.
It was an opportunity, I think, that's born out of a little bit of frustration. Long, long way out. Rentre, lots of bodies in front, possibly going wide anyway, but Curto wasn't to know. Put the arm out to make sure.
It's given a little bit of more impetus, a shot in the arm for the Sydney supporters as well, who rise again, hoping their team can give it one strong push. King's ball back post. Header back across. Donachie got his head on it. It was a physical challenge, but...
Yeah, I think there was a push in the back. His defender just got his body underneath the ball, protected it. You can see he just goes straight through the back. It's Moody the jar. Well, Ante Milicic will want his midfielders now to get on the ball a little bit. They've been a little bit anonymous in this second half, as Sydney had more of the play. Seem to have pressed a little bit more on this Macarthur team in this second half, a little bit more possession in the opposition half. Seen too much of the Macarthur midfield on the ball at the last 10 minutes or so.
They have been sitting deeper and deeper. They've been put under the best period of sustained pressure for Sydney in this match so far. A word on Costas Barbarouses, because you always expect so much. We haven't seen too much of him, but a first match of the year as well, after a long pre-season, but a first competitive match. And as much as anything, Corica and he are probably looking for minutes as much as anything at intense level.
Yeah, and to blow the cobwebs out, really, especially off the back of illness last week. Really just want to get that first game in and out of the way. If you can get something, you can perform well, then that's a bonus. But he has been relatively quiet.
Shushnyar with a good defensive header. Now Najjar. Don't forget you can catch all the highlights of this match and yesterday's amazing cup set of Apia Leichhardt knocking off Western Sydney, and all the other matches that we've had so far this season in preparation. You can even perhaps see the draw with Daniel McBreen for the quarterfinals again if you're lucky. I haven't looked for that one yet. I'll head on to ffacup.com.au for all the highlights, and there's news, there's previews as well, so a one-stop shop for staying breadth of everything that's going on in the FFA Cup. You can catch all the highlights as well on 10 Play, where you are now no doubt watching free of charge the competition on Network 10.
What a game that was last night, Robbie.
What a goal.
The goal. Tynan Diaz, love a long-range effort. It's one thing to see, to have the awareness to see it, but then to the execution, and as soon as you hit it, you actually knew straight away, didn't you? The keeper's not going to get that. It's fantastic to see players get that opportunity, and Apia now knocking off A-League opposition twice.
Magic of the cup. And, you can also have a little bit of magic between two top flight sides as well. Let's hope we get that in the next 21 minutes or so. A little bit of magic, please. Najjar with Sepping. Rose with Martis. McGing. Another player we haven't mentioned for Macarthur is Adrian Mariappa, the Jamaica internationals. Here come Macarthur onto the front foot with Ruse. Less said about that, the better perhaps. Mariappa, who has signed. He's not yet match fit, but hopefully after his transfer from Bristol City, 57 international caps for Jamaica since 2012, and he joins with a very fine and furnished CV from the English Premier League. As here goes Buhaja. Anything you can do, I can do too. To Michael Ruse at the other end.
Well, crossing isn't the forte at the moment, is it? Some good runs from both players, but the final product, sprinkle some of that magic dust on there.
Sepping closed down quickly by Van der Sar. It's well defended. Early ball. It's very well defended. It was Martis back, because you get the feeling that Macarthur defence read the intentions of Sydney FC so well as well, because that was a classic Sydney early ball for the Fondra, and it was a Macarthur player there that read it and made the run. Looks like Steve Corica's going to make a couple of changes here as well. Donachie. Just gives it straight back in the end. So Ruse has come out onto the right side of the midfield for Macarthur now, with Lockie Rose looking to give it a little bit more impetus through the middle. Perhaps a little bit more goal-scoring confidence as well. Mombwa has done brilliantly. Rose is in there. Again, Mackie, talk about that run to the near post.
Yeah. Lockie Rose just got caught behind his defender. Mombwa was looking for him to get across that defender, and that's when you get your glancing headers.
Burgess cut out again. McGing, Martis under pressure from Rattray, but he's done that well. Rattray sticking to him like glue. Curto for Najjar, and Sydney have it back again. You see that pressure again from Sydney.
Yeah, they do that well as a unit. They
just
go
don't
press
have
together.
an easy ball.
No. And I think that's one of the reasons we haven't seen this Macarthur midfield on the ball too much, because they won't let them come through. They congest that middle, and they wait for a certain pass, and that's the trigger, and they all go together.
Callum Nieuwenhof is preparing to come into the game. Ninkovic has come across as well from the warm-up zone, but I'm not sure. Well, maybe it won't be too long. Probably like to rest the 36-year-old Milos Ninkovic, but you'd also like him to play a few minutes if he can make the difference.
Well, we asked for some magic sprinkle dust, and he's the man who could definitely provide it.
And he is going to come on as he strips down. Off comes the warm-up bib for Ninkovic. Referee giving plenty of warning. Great to listen to all that in there. Here it comes, and what a scrum of players in the 6-yard box, driven back in. Was beautifully struck by Burgess, and he gets another chance here. Again, he finds himself in plenty of space, running at Najjar into the area. Burgess still palmed away by Curto.
Well, when When they get past the grey wall, there's a green wall there as well, isn't there? It's hit straight at him on that occasion, but first chance blocked by defenders, and we said when they breached, that man Curto normally stands up, and there he was again.
King looking for Buhaja. Well defended by McGing.
See if it comes across, Curto gets the punch, doesn't really clear the area as Burgess comes in. Cleared away again. Great feat from Burgess in the wide area to finally get the shot off as we see the substitutions.
That's Burgess's last contribution as he's replaced by Ninkovic, and Barbarouses has got a good 75 minutes under his belt, even if we didn't see classic Barbarouses. He's replaced by Nieuwenhof. So a couple of changes in the middle of the park for this 4-3-3 of Sydney FC. See if it, I guess it'll be a 4-4-2 still.
I guess Stevie Corica will be hoping for some spark from either. We all remember Callum Nieuwenhof's 35-metre strike from last season, I believe it was. As you can see, he's got goal scoring in his abilities in himself.
There you can see the flat four, the four in midfield. There's Nieuwenhof, who's gone into the middle alongside Retre. Caceres on the right now. Ninkovic on the left, but you can expect those two to play quite central as well.
Yeah. So straight away they move on that inside line.
There's King for Buhaja. All the way through to Curto again.
That could be the problem with Buhaja. He does have incredible pace and likes to run in behind a lot, but that quick surface just takes that ball away, gives the advantage to Curto.
Well played, but Sepping just taking a moment too long to get the pass away. It'll be better for the experience as well. He'll see how much faster this is to MPL. It's a step up in class. Cup, that line and that distinction can be blurred a little bit.
It's always one thing when the young players step up to train with the first team and they see the difference there, but then when you go into the game, it's a whole new level. Sometimes it takes you a little while to adjust. That half a second that you normally have to extra to take a pass or pick a through ball doesn't exist.
It's when you really have to have a good environment to bring the kids through it, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Because you can get burned.
Oh yeah,
if
definitely.
If it all goes sour, you have to have a good supportive run. And I was watching Milicic just there on Sepping, and he didn't say anything and turned away because he doesn't treat him the same way he'd treat Lockie Rose,
exactly,
as we saw earlier in the half. There's that ball in. That's well played. Donachie does that nicely. Now Wilkinson still going. We're no closer to that third oldest goal scorer record today.
See, I played with Alex Wilkinson. I don't think he'd mind me saying I won't be holding my breath for another goal from him.
Nieuwenhof. Ninkovic. He's now like a coach on the field, isn't he, as well, telling his players.
I was just watching that myself. Just trying to organise the team, where to play the ball. Got a little bit frustrated as it was played into the bodies. He's still standing with his arms in the air, saying, "I'm free, give it to me. You know what I can do?"
Here he is now, the number 10, with Lafondra. It's nicely done, King. The cross is over, hit to the back post, and King again offside. Offside number 7 against Sydney.
And that does become frustrating for teammates and coaches, especially when you're in that wide area and you can see across the line. You need to hold your run.
Bruce wins it in the air. Momboy is there as well, but if anything, a little too close that time. The Macarthur players. Buhaja's touch, McGing's header. There's a hand there, referee allows the advantage. Very nicely done, Liam Rose. Momboy with a clever little touch is clipped by Van der Sarg. Sydney have looked the more likely scorers in this second half. I'm trying to think, Andrew Redmayne, has he had anything to do in this second period?
Not from memory, and I haven't seen Mooney Najjar forward much either. Just saw him there with the ball. Trying to think of him getting in an advanced position in this second half.
Smartis gives it away, and Buhaja now with that chance to stretch those legs. He is lightning quick. Shoots early. He had to go it alone.
When he takes off, Trent Buhaja, no one's catching up with him. There's an errant back pass, and you see here he just puts the motor down. That touch took him a little bit wider, which narrowed his angle there, and he couldn't open up his hip. You can see what he wanted to do, open up the hip and play it into the far corner.
Left. Oh, as it's in. And the flag's up for offside, it won't count. And Macarthur looked to make the most of that little lifeline.
Well, we were all caught up on the Buhaja effort. Sydney caught us unawares with a quick one.
The flag was up for offside. Well, Sydney with the ball in the back of the net. But it doesn't count. Offside flag now. King can't get there. Let's have a look at this again.
Well, this was tight, but I think Lafondra probably just drifted into an offside position. And again, we see that Macarthur line, as it was taken short, stepped up as one in unison. Done it to perfection tonight.
You can often criticise a short corner. Sometimes they can work very well to tease out, to reset a defence. Just on that occasion, it didn't quite come off, but they were queuing up at the back post for Sydney. Now Wilkinson. Nieuwenhof. Six and a half minutes left. Redmayne is finally called into action in this second half, but it's only by his teammates. Donachie. Well, Sydney have flexed a little bit of muscle in this second half without really being able to make it count. Donachie goes long this time for King. It's well played. It's deflected off McGing and easily into the arms of Curto. Mombwa with the little touch. And Mombwa gets the free kick because there was no advantage for Moody Najjar down the left-hand side.
So we look at the corner again. You can see the Sydney FC players there.
It's very close.
2 or 3 all in a line.
We'll give the benefit of the doubt to the referee's assistant on that far side. He saw it. There have been no mistakes so far in the contest. It's been pretty well refereed.
Yeah.
It's been interesting to listen to Kurt Ames a lot as well. Plenty of talk, explaining his decisions.
And it's been good from both players as well, Robbie. You know, decisions made, we get on with it.
Here's Sepping, the youngster. Nicely done. Sepping. Oh, and his shot. Well, it just didn't curl, but it almost fell to Rose.
Well, he did well when he came inside there, Sepping. I think everyone thought he was going to go back outside, including his opposite defender, who took off and left him to go inside. As you say, his shot just wouldn't bend back towards that near post and almost went across the face of the goal into Lockie Rose's path.
Nieuwenhof with Van der Sarg. Donachie, Wilkinson, over the top, Buhaja sets off again, and Kurto.
See a little dummy from Sepping there, and he just can't screw his foot around the ball. See what he wanted to do.
That'll give his confidence the world of good as well, as Roos just a little bit tiredly overruns it, but same for Sydney. There are some weary legs out there. The pitch has held up well, despite all the rain we've had today and the previous 3 weeks, a month.
Yeah, it's good conditions for football.
Rose, no way through. Stepped on Wilkinson as play continues. Caceres with Ninkovic. Retre. Call to switch. Oh, but it's overhit. It's Van der Sarg who, well, just misread it.
And he's had a good game tonight, Van der Sarg, but that was a horror show. Sydney had actually moved the ball around well and created space for him. Just took his eye off the ball.
Rose. It was his goal that settled the contest between these two sides just 10 days ago.
Carry a bit, Michael. Carry. Come on, come on. Come.
Milicic telling his players exactly where he wants them. Najjar over the top for Sepping. That's well played, but Martis's pass as Liam Rose tries to steal in. Now, Lafondra, can he keep it in play? He can. Oh, he's done that brilliantly. Gets the better of McGing. And the switch, but Shushnya can't cushion the header enough. I think it's gone out for a corner. The referee agrees.
It's a great fighting play from Lafondra. He'll never die wondering, will he? He wants to get this over in the 90 minutes.
He's got 90 seconds left. All eyes on the quick corner this time. And it's exactly the same move. Getting the ball to Ninkovic. This time it's the Serbians' cross to the back post. And it's headed behind. It'll be another corner. Najjar doing the defensive work.
Well, it almost paid off on the last occasion, so they said, let's do it again. Exactly the same. All delivered to the same area. Najjar being called on to clear this time.
Caceres with the corner. And it comes, it's a good ball! And it just ripples the outside of the netting. And again, it's Lafondra. Well, they will rue these missed chances.
For a moment, the crowd and ourselves, we both thought the ball had snuck in at the near post, and I think it's Bahadur who gets up, but actually came off his back. Just grazed the outside of the net. Those Sydney FC fans thought it had gone in the near post.
The 90 minutes are up, just 2 minutes of stoppage time. Well, it was a tight contest between these two sides in round 2 of the Isuzu Ute A-League men's season. And it has been again the case tonight. Mombwa has been sold the dummy, stayed down. I hope he hasn't injured himself. Retre, the referee has decided to stop play. Ante Milicic looks away.
Well, at first I thought he stayed down out of embarrassment, but he's writhing now. Ante not happy as we look at the replay.
Steve Corica's not happy either.
Yeah, could be a groin, is it?
Yeah.
Just the foot slipped away from underneath him.
Well, that's what a local rivalry is all about. Yeah, Caceres on the receiving end there. Ante Milicic wants to keep going as well. Well, he's doing that to motivate his own players, rather, not teammates anymore.
Yeah, but I think also that's Ante Milicic. He's very fiery, he wants to win at all times, and he's protective of his players.
Now checking the groin of Mombwa there.
The way he went down, it looked like he just slipped and done the groin.
He's fucking injured.
He's just looking after his players, protecting his players.
Well, that's not Ante Milicic this time, that's the coaching staff. There you see, it could be knee as well, the right knee that took a lot of that pressure, but they are checking it for the groin.
We'll leave it to the coaches to debate that one.
Yep. Positives and negatives from having great microphones down on the sideline. It has been at times very interesting, at other times rather enlightening, but
and very colourful at times.
Yeah, and colourful. Never a dull moment on the sideline. We're going to see another change, I think, with the substitution just for these final seconds. Mombwa is off, and it's Uzkok who comes immediately into the game. So McGing will head up into that position on this right-hand side. More musical chairs.
We've seen plenty of players in different positions tonight.
Rose has done that well. Mentioned the conditions. I think in part they're responsible for that injury to Mombwa. The pitch has held up well, but it just foot slid out from under him as it struck from distance all the way back. We're well past the 2 minutes of stoppage time. Is the referee going to allow any more time, or are we heading to extra time? Yellow card for McGing. First booking of the match.
It looked innocuous enough, didn't it?
Yeah, just a little foot on the inside of the ankle, was it, on Ninkovic? Is there time? Referee just had another look at his watch. It has to happen quickly. If it's going to happen, it's not going to. And we're heading to extra time here at Jubilee Stadium, where over 90 4 minutes, Sydney FC and Macarthur Bulls have not been able to be separated. Sydney with the better chances in that second half. Sydney made the running. Sydney took the game to Macarthur, but just no way through.
No, it's not through a lack of trying, particularly on Sydney FC's behalf, but it's a fantastic defensive display again from Macarthur.
When you see it, it's going to be a distraction. Football, you what? You've got it fucking wrong again, Kurt. Yeah, we have to go fuck. Yeah, I've got to run another 30 minutes.
Well, just listening in there, and Steve Corica, who's still going. Now, he's got overstepped the mark there as well. Yellow card for Steve Corica there from Kurt Ames, the referee, who was taking a fair bit of stick there regarding that goal scored by Adam Lafondre, but you heard the referee say quite clearly Adam was offside.
It's definitely feeling in this game from both coaches. We just saw Ante Milicic there giving out the orders. See, he's very animated.
Well, both coaches now having to stay cool. Corica, very calm and composed now in front of his players. What you want is a coach in this situation that tells you what you have to do now to try and win the match.
Yeah, exactly right. Need to have he's obviously vented, got his frustration out, and now he's back into explaining to his players what he needs for them. And of course, neither coach and neither set of players would have wanted extra time. We talk about the busy schedule. We have it now. Someone needs to find a way through these defences.
Sydney who take on Central Coast Mariners this weekend, Sunday at 6:15. That will be in Gosford. A little trip up the coast for Sydney, not too much travel, but the games are coming thick and fast. There'll be games just before and after Christmas as well, during the festive period. Now, I think there is another coin toss here, isn't there, for the two captains to decide which way they're running. In theory, penalties, I think, is another coin toss these days as well, to decide which end and who goes first. So it's Sydney FC that will take the kickoff. We will continue to switch from one end to the other. And 2 periods of 15 minutes then for these two sides to try and find a winner. If not, we head to penalties. And we have already had penalties in this competition this year. Sydney FC, can they keep going from what has been a better second half, a much better second half after a very even first half? 13 shots to 9 now in favour of the home side. Possession very, very even. Caceres. You have the tension, you have the fear of making a mistake now, which can prove so costly as the ball is cleared in, but you can add to that a fair amount of fatigue. And you can almost guarantee there'll be a mistake or two. As Rose gets it through, the break is almost on, it's very well defended Little ball over the top for Bahaja, who doesn't need that extra yard offside that he looked.
Looked a couple more than a yard. Just didn't mistime that totally and just decided to keep on going. But again, that Macarthur line is very good. And the frustrations for the coaches you can understand as well. You know, you go into extra time and the little niggly injuries. Mombwa slipping in the last minute. Rattled off the list of players who weren't involved tonight or available tonight. And you add another one to that. It starts to mount up.
Yeah, because that's a player who, if he's got a groin problem, it won't be involved the next week, or 2 or 3 even, depending on the grade of the strain. The groin is a troublesome injury. Liam Rose, he's played well. He and Martis, the two in the middle, for two that haven't played much football so far this season. Now Shushnya, big switch of play for Ruse. Just can't quite get there. He's a willing runner though. The number 19 for Macarthur.
Had a quieter second half than he did in the first. He's moved down onto that wider position with Lockie Rose more central now.
Up the line for Bahaja to chase. Shushnya is there again, just been booked, but still there. Still marshalling his left side of that 3-man defence. Van der Sar. Nieuwenhof. Retre. Switch of play for King. Little 1-2. Oh, it's well played. They're queuing up in the middle. And it's very good defending once again. Meredith, the captain, with a crucial intervention.
And it was a wonderful reverse pass from Ninkovic. Turned as though he was going to play inside and flicked it back around the outside. As the cross came in, it was Meredith who was there again in front of Lafondra.
Ball back post, Curto clears. That would have been something extra special from Van der Sar.
Curto gets there again, but punches centrally, which is always dangerous. And we've seen that a number of times tonight as the ball's bounced out and it skips off the surface, giving it a little bit more height. It's very difficult for the oncoming player to get good control of the ball and get that foot over the ball and down.
Now Ninkovic. It really is the art of deception, isn't it, Ninkovic? You think, where's the ball gone? It's disappeared, it's out, heading out the other side. Van der Sar challenged by Sepping, who dove in. That's a yellow card for Sepping now, and after the first yellow card of the match was for McGing after 80 minutes. Now all of a sudden, 2 more in the first 4 of extra time, and a certain Steve Corica on the sideline as well. Caceres, ball in, thumping header out of defence. Driven back in and always rising from Retre.
He's had a couple of strikes from distance tonight, Retre. And again, we see that clearance from Macarthur coming centrally. Always a dangerous area to clear your lines. Retre, he had the chance, the time really to get his bearings this time on his favoured foot. You see the frustration in his face as he doesn't hit the target.
Cleared long. Uzcock dispossessed. And the ball in behind is a fantastic ball, and he just couldn't take it with him, Trent Bahaja. Well, it was that time a lovely timed run.
The linesman looked like he was keeping his flag down, so timed well from Bahaja, but just clipped the heels. It's unfortunate.
Just not happening, but Sydney, persistence. They are persevering. Lefondre with Caceres. Not an easy one. Jonas Martis with the clearance. Now Van der Sar. Ken Martis sliding in, getting back to his feet. Caceres. They spent a lot of time defending Macarthur.
Yeah, Sydney really dominating possession and field position as well.
No way through for Ninkovic. He tries to win it back, and there's a little push in the back.
No, it was actually a handball from Ruse.
Taken quickly. Well, the referee changing his mind in that one, it looked like, or was it always his decision as it's driven in? Meredith's header. It stays alive with Van der Sar. Well, that will be a controversial moment if something comes from this. Caceres into the area, drives it across, corner.
Who's there again? Meredith on that near post. As we look at the foul again, Ninkovic just comes around the back. To me, clips the heels. Kurt M says no, and penalise Ruse for handball. From the ensuing set of play, we now have a Sydney corner.
And Ruse is still down, and he wants to receive some treatment as well. Now, he's going to have to leave the field of play. I guess it's cramp for Michael Ruse. This means that he will have to leave the field of play when he comes off, because you can't receive treatment and stay on the field of play unless you are the victim of a challenge that warranted a yellow card. That's the only way you can stay on the pitch. Now, are they going to make a substitution to avoid having to defend with 10? Now trying to get Diego Bonilla, another youngster from Northbridge Bulls, to come into the contest. But before then, the corner. Caceres. It's a good ball. Ninkovic tried to control. Now can Macarthur break? Lefondre doing the defending brilliantly to stop that counter-attack. Caceres goes again. He's done well. Bahaja. Can Sydney translate this pressure into a goal? Van der Sar with Bahaja again. Caceres into the area in another corner, and again it's Martis doing the defending.
Well, the pressure is mounting, isn't it? And we talk about Macarthur's defence, but it's that transition to defence in that front third from Sydney FC that has really stopped Macarthur getting out. Whenever that ball comes out, 2 or 3 players around the ball, and on they come again.
Again they go short to the point of the box. Back to Caceres. His cross, dinking back post, the header! Back across the face of goal! And it's Donachie, who has the goal on his debut for Sydney FC. In the 100th minute of this contest, the 10th minute of the first period of extra time, and finally the pressure tells.
Well, finally the Macarthur defence went to sleep. They forgot about Caceres, the corner taker, and as the ball came back to him, it's a lovely dinked ball to the back post, and Donachie up strong. You see him strain the neck muscles, guides it back past Curto, who could do nothing about that, and it drops into the far bottom corner. And finally Sydney can fashion a clean attempt on goal. A wonderful header it was from Donachie as well.
It's been a long time in coming. And it's true, you say finally fashion a real effort on goal, because Curto hasn't had a couple of saves. Burgess is one where he stung his palms in the second half, but plenty of domination few clear-cut chances. And finally the goal for Sydney, which you'd have to say on the balance of play, they probably deserve.
Yeah, they've been pressing and pressing, particularly in the second half of the normal regulation 90 minutes and this extra time period. They really have pressed and dominated. And finally took a centre-back to step up, take the opportunity, guide that ball into the net.
So often in these situations, it's a set piece that can make the difference.
Macarthur, as we said, sorry, Robbie, has defended so well, but they did go to sleep a little bit as the ball came out. They forgot about Caceres on the return pass, and he had all the time in the world to clip it to the back post.
That's more than physical fatigue, which is understandable, as well as here comes Sydney again. The cross in! Oh, it's so close for Bahaja. They want a corner and they've got it, but there's a mental fatigue involved in defending and defending and defending. And that's what, and more than anything, a lapse in concentration can come just from that pressure that Sydney were applying.
You see, the one chance comes where they score, and almost immediately after, another chance. Bahaja across that front post. This man Ninkovic, you never know where it's going to go, and you can just see, I think Curto gets the final touch.
Retray for Ninkovic again. Oh, the spill! Lafondra wants another corner off Ruse, but goal kick, says the referee.
Well, they're coming in waves now, Sydney. They're timing the runs in behind. This man is instrumental, Ninkovic. Just a bit of miscommunication there, and Fondre bitterly disappointed. He's saying it's a deflection, but needs to hit the target.
It was a very presentable chance for a player of his quality as well. He's the man that started Sydney's scoring this season with his 50th in Sky Blue in the Cup against Sydney Olympic. He then added the first of the A-League season from the penalty spot last weekend, where they're still looking for that first win of the season. Mind you, they'll be hoping it comes against the Mariners this weekend. There's more Sydney opposition for Macarthur this weekend. In the Isuzu Ute A-League, they take on Western Sydney Wanderers on Saturday. How much of Macarthur missed Ulysses Davila, do you feel, as well? Because while he's only new to Macarthur as such, we know you're always going to miss a player of that quality, aren't you?
Yeah, look, for the first 45 minutes, Macarthur did well in that midfield. They made changes at the half-time. They just didn't really have that time on the ball, whether it's the Sydney press was better or the new guys into those positions really didn't get on the ball as much as needed. I think that really swayed the game. Sydney really took hold of the game, started to mount continuous pressure. And we saw a number of times Macarthur hold that line really well, but then, you know, we said very early that it's a dangerous ploy. They did it well. This last 5 minutes, Sydney have shown you can start to time those runs. You can be very dangerous.
And now they're throwing caution to the wind, Macarthur, because they're pushing Ruse up front alongside Rose. There'll be 1 minute of stoppage time, but they have the chance here. And the cross never came. Ruse was waiting in the middle, unmarked, and it never arrived. Now back in towards Rose. Completely missed by Redmayne. And Rose couldn't control the header.
Well, from being almost non-existent in attack, Macarthur fashioned two opportunities. First, the pass that didn't come in for Ruse, and then that cross there for Redmayne. Totally missed it. It just dropped on the head of Lachlan Rose. I don't think he actually thought it was going to come through. I think he thought Redmayne will collect this and was surprised as it bounced off his head. But that was a great opportunity in the first instance. Ruse was screaming for the cutback.
Yeah, And McGing just didn't know what to do. It froze.
Yeah, and tried to go on the outside. I think the cutback pass was the easier option.
Brosque cleared in the end by Najjar. Straight back again. Ninkovic. Oh, lovely feet. Fantastic balance, presence, awareness. Caceres, there's no time for one last Sydney attack, but they have made the difference in that first period of extra time, courtesy of their new defender, James Donachie, rising highest at the back post to give Sydney a precious, precious one-goal lead with 15 minutes left to play. Well, let's go to a quick break now, and we'll be back with the climax for this one at Jubilee Stadium. Stay with us.
You're right, Hugh, you don't want to drink? All right.
That's why they wanted the break.
How long we got to that? 30?
Sydney FC are without a win so far in the Isuzu Utes A-League men's season, but they are on the verge of a place in the quarterfinals of the FFA Cup. They lead the A-League leaders, Macarthur Bulls, by 1-0 as we prepare ourselves for the final 15 minutes of this contest. Donachie's goal separates the two sides. Can Macarthur do it? Can Macarthur dig deep? Can Macarthur show the kind of spirit and fight that they have done so far this season? Can that man find another goal?
Substitution for Macarthur, replacing number 22, Liam Rose. Number 34.
It's Liam Rose who's run himself into the ground. And it's Bonilla who's come on. Number 34, Diego Bonilla, Uruguayan born. The youngster who plays his football under Mile Sturjovski at Northbridge Bulls, a New South Wales NPL partner club of the Macarthur Bulls. And Mile Sturjovski is actually sitting in the room next to us here. The coaching staff with the video analysis. I've heard the odd fist on the table coming from the coach's box. And the flag goes up for offside again.
You can hear the frustration from teammates. It's happened quite a lot tonight.
Mahaj has done that brilliantly. Dives into the challenge. Too strong. And now King. Fondra wanted it early to the back post. Always on the lookout for half a chance, always looking for an opening. Now Van der Sarg accelerates straight past Najjar, clips the ball back post. Ninkovic back in again and cleared by Uskok. Wilkinson's header for Ninkovic. Sydney can settle things.
They're not going to sit back, are they, Sydney? Take the 1-0. They're looking to press and keep coming, looking for a second. Just basically been the pattern of the play for the majority of this game after half-time.
Youngster Bonilla into the game, and a first foul from him. It's taken short. Retre. with Ninkovic. You can hear everyone calling for Rattray to pass it to Ninkovic. Back post, driven across. And Curto with the stop. It was the right idea from Van der Sarg.
Well, why wouldn't you give him the ball? He's made a difference since coming on as well.
Well, you look at the substitutions that didn't necessarily work out for Macarthur at half-time.
And even that ball there, look, it's on a plate to be either struck or hit back across the goal. Wonderful technique and execution.
Sepping. That's a good ball for Rose. It was a fantastic ball in. Rose thinks he was being impeded.
It was a great ball as it curls back, and Lockie Rose, as he's done well in the last few weeks, has drifted off the shoulder of Donachie. Donachie just gets the arm out, just hand on the chest, just as he was looking to make contact with the ball, and you can see that's what Lockie Rose is saying. Kurt Ems doesn't agree that it was enough for a penalty.
Almost Euro-turning villain. Donachie there. Have to be so careful when you're a defender. Can't afford to raise any arms. Forwards are very adept at making the most of any contact as well. But I'm not defending one or the other, of course. King. Again, looking to just unleash Bahaja. Another substitution now. Patrick Yazbek, 19-year-old, made his debut for Sydney FC against Sydney Olympic. Played a full match. He's coming on for Paulo Rattray. Another who's run himself ragged in this contest.
It's a good game, Rattray. The only thing that he'll be disappointed is he's shooting from distance. Apart from that, controlled the play, worked well with his teammates. Himself and Caceres in that middle of the park there for the majority of the game. Still being joined by Nieuwenhof. They really have controlled the game as it's gone on.
With a clever little touch. No way through, but Sydney will be happy if it stays up this end of the pitch. All of this for a place in the quarterfinals against Brisbane. Melbourne City await the winner of Phoenix versus Avondale, another NPL club still in the last 16. Adelaide United await the winner of the Gold Coast Knights versus Melbourne Victory. And Apia Leichhardt will take on the Central Coast Mariners in the quarterfinals. So we could yet have, apart from this quarterfinal, Brisbane Roar versus either Sydney or Macarthur, one NPL club in each of the other three quarterfinals. As Lefondre goes down easy, it's in to the left pocket, not the right, and that means a red card. And that's a disappointing end for Antonis Martis, who's had otherwise an accomplished 111 minutes in the middle of the park for Macarthur, but he was caught the wrong side there, and there's no doubt he dragged him down. Last man? I mean, is that a clear goal-scoring opportunity?
Yeah, I think so. A player of Lefondre's ability would take a touch there and be looking to drive to goal. If I saw yellow, I probably could see the merits in that as well, with the covering defenders coming, but whether he would get there or not. But as you said, strikers are very adept at feeling the challenges. It's a disappointing end for Antonis Martis. He's been okay today out there.
comes Sydney again, and Sydney's job might just have got that little bit easier now, because 10 men after 112 minutes in the wet. It's a big ask for Macarthur. We know they are a side with character. There are two teams that won't mind seeing this go all the way to 120 minutes, of course. Macca. They are the Central Coast Mariners, who take on Sydney this weekend on Sunday, and the Western Sydney Wanderers, who lock horns with the Bulls on Saturday.
They'll be licking their wounds after last night's performance as well.
Back out, Kurto with another good stop. Buhaja, oh, he's done that very well. Caceres crosses back in. Buhaja, here's Ninkovic. Clever little dummy. Oh, and somehow blocked by Shushnya. He can't believe it. I don't think anyone can quite believe it.
Well, they've cleared their lines on a number of occasions tonight, Macarthur, down the middle. And with Kurto going the one way, Susnaya took it upon himself, to step in and save the day.
Fantastic piece of defending. Now, Caceres. Again, they come short. Caceres again, they've done this nicely. Acceleration. Shot wide of the mark again. Nieuwenhof. It opened up for him on that right-hand side.
Yeah, it was nice play. Combination play just to create the space, draw the defenders out, just keep over the shot.
That's nicely done by Sepping. One over the top for Rose. Good talk there from Donachie. You can hear it saying, Redmayne, it's okay, we're clear. Again, Redmayne came out to a dangerous no man's land there. Beautifully done. Here we come again. Lafondra. Lafondra still. Lovely skills from Buhaja.
Some lovely footwork from Buhaja to find the space. I actually thought he was just going to go himself, but passed off to his elder statesman.
Now Buhaja with Ninkovic. King for Nieuwenhof. They're still full of running Sydney. They don't need to attack the ball anymore though. 5 minutes to go. They don't want to concede one more than anything, Sydney. Rose. Can't find Najjar. Rose is still running hard, but Sydney can make them run now with that extra man. Again involved. Donachie.
They can be patient now, can't they, Sydney? Wait for the opportunity like this.
It's a good turn. Here's Buhaja. Buhaja still trying to bend one. Just taking a little bobble as he went to strike.
Just sort of snatched at it as well. Just did well to get it inside on his right foot. Snatch at the ball. FC. That was a foul from Buhaja. Throw in, but Sydney FC now comfortable. They still have to watch. Lockie Rose is still a willing runner forward. This is where they'll be good. Players like Ninkovic keep the ball, move it around, bring the Macarthur defenders out, and then strike when they can.
The statistics are in their favour now as well. 22 shots to 10. That was very even at half-time. 8 shots on target for Sydney against just 1 on target for Macarthur. And they might yet have a chance for a second goal here. Great stop, Curto. Like a bear, just patting it away.
He's a fantastic keeper, isn't he? After the first save, he didn't stay back on his line. He got out quickly to close the angle and the space. Yeah, as we see, he comes in the save. He's parried it out into a dangerous area, but you watch him, he comes out aggressive, stands his ground, close that space.
Occupying the space wide, making himself big. Even putting the ball out of play, because you know it will just wind up the clock and wind down the clock rather a little bit more. Is there time for Macarthur to try and get something from this one? I'm not sure if Ante Milicic has given up the ghost, but he's going to give Ollie Jones a run as well. So all 4 kids that are up from the Northbridge Bulls are going to get their first team debuts this evening as Sydney come again, and Sydney have their second. He's had some game, the young right back Van der Sar. He ran onto the ball, uncontested, all the way through on goal, and then we've seen some nice touches from him, right from that first nutmeg at the start of the match. And there's another one there, still going in the 119th minute.
You see Macarthur with an extra player off the field injured, which gave them the numbers and the space, but it was a great run from Van der Sar, sorry. And as he took his touch here, you think he might have cut it back for Lafondra, but lovely dink. So onrush and Curto had to go down. It's game, set, and match for Sydney FC, 2-0. To be fair on the performance tonight, it's been very dominant. It's probably nothing more than they deserve.
A 3rd goal for Sydney FC for Van der Sar. A 2nd tonight. Scored against the Raw last year.
It's taken a centre-back and a full-back for them to break this Macarthur team down.
The 2nd against 10 men.
Yeah, well 9, as Sepping was off the field at the time, so we see the substitutions now. Killing some time.
So Joel King comes off, replaced by Callum Talbot, who we thought may start at right back. Fortunately for Sydney, Van der Sar had that job this evening because he did it very well in the absence of Ryan Grant. There was another decision that Corica had to make. Shake of the hand now between Corica and Milicic. That's nice to see. There you go, thanks all round, all the best. It's fierce when it's still a contest, but once it's over, plenty of respect between 2 former Socceroos as well, and 2 players that had, 2 coaches that had remarkable playing careers.
Exactly, and that's the way it should be. You know, both passionate, want the best from their teams. Both very, very much winners throughout their career. And when it's all said and done at the end of the game, it's a handshake and all friends again.
Talbot, that's a good ball for Ninkovic. The little touch for Lafondra. You know, being a striker would still love to get his name on the score sheet. We're almost done here. Talbot's cross. Curto still has saves to make. There's Macarthur. Bring the ball forward. McGing still running upfield. Lockie Rose hits it well. Well, it would have only been a consolation probably at this stage with just seconds remaining. But Redmayne had to make the save. We haven't seen enough of that from Macarthur.
No, and from that distance, it's going to have to be something special to beat Redmayne. He hasn't had much to do.
Just the second shot on target in the contest, coming just seconds before the final whistle. Sydney FC, FFA Cup winners back in 2017, are into the quarterfinals as the Macarthur Bulls' inaugural cup run draws to a close. The goals coming from the defenders, Donachie in the 110th minute, and then Van der Sarg in the 119th. It was a night for the defenders because defences were right on top early before making the difference. And it's ended here at Jubilee Stadium. Sydney 2, Macarthur 0. Let's have a look, Macca, how it happened.
Well, it was the odd occasion where Macarthur had gone to sleep. You see Caceres come back for the return pass.
Cross, dinking back post, the header!
It's a lovely
back
header.
across the face of
Donachie looping it back over the keeper. So hard for keepers there as they're rushing to get to the near post. And it was a wonderful header. See how Caceres stood that ball up.
Really good header.
Yeah,
back where it came from.
Nothing Curte could do. He's been exceptional again tonight. And this was near the end of the game. Macarthur, a man down and another man injured off the pitch. But this man has a wonderful game tonight, Harry Van der Sarg. On rushing Curto came, he just dinked it over. It's a real quality finish. It's a fantastic finish, and that was a sealing goal, 2-0. It was all over Red Rover then.
Sydney extracting a little bit of revenge for that defeat by 1-0 here and breaking the home team hoodoo in this fixture. The first ever home win in a match between Sydney and Macarthur. Fantastic result for Sydney, who march on in the Cup. They will now turn their attentions back to the Isuzu Ute A-League. And a big match coming up on Sunday against the Mariners. For Macarthur, they will be defending their top spot in the league standings when they travel to the Western Sydney Wanderers on Saturday. But that's it here from Jubilee Stadium this evening. It's been a long night, it's been a wet night, but it ended with some real quality and joy for Sydney FC. From me, Robbie Thompson, and Daniel McBreen, thank you, Macca. It was a pleasure.
Always a pleasure.
And we will see you again next time for more FFA Cup action. Bye, everyone.
Around the